Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. This looks quite a promising rack. It looks quite bingo-y, but I haven't seen a bingo, so this actually then becomes quite tricky because it's a matter of breaking up a bingo-y rack. So I could play something like media, leaving just OR. Alternatively, I could play something like moi, MOI, keeping dear, which is quite a good four-letter set. And I'm inclined to go for the play with the better rack leave in this instance, and generally on an opening move. But am I overlooking a bingo? I'm just considering each letter in turn as the initial letter of a word. And I'm not seeing a play, so moi for 10. Well, this looks close. Through an S I would have washered. I'm not seeing a 7. I don't think weird is good. W-H-E-A-R-E-D. And I'm not seeing anything through the M. However, this is a slightly different rack to last time because I'm happy to get rid of the W and the H. They're fairly non-bingo-y. And I should be able to get a decent score with them, maybe 20 or 30 points. Now, I would have headwear through an E. Not through an E. Through an A. No A available at the moment. I can't see anything through the M. What about the O? Well, all of these tiles are letters are likely to be blocked. But in any event, I'm not seeing anything, or no bingos through them. I have rawhide through the I, but that's unlikely to be the best way of using my W and H. So at the moment, headwear is the only 8 I've seen, but I suspect there are others. Opponent taking a while with his opening move. And I see he's got a countdown logo or picture. Quite a crossover between countdown and Scrabble in the UK. Okay, pretty good move. It provides nothing new for me, but in my favour it doesn't score very much. OE only takes an S after it, so I'm fairly limited in terms of what I can do. Emo is good, so I could play Hue, but that takes a couple of useful floaters in front, and I'd quite like to get my M, or my H rather, above this I, so maybe a play beginning WH. So what I could do is weigh, which doesn't take any hooks. What's happening? Why isn't this working? Let me see if I can drag. So it doesn't take any hooks for a play in column 12. However, it is opening up row H. It is placing a vowel underneath this triple letter square. So if opponent's got a J or a Z, he could get a pretty big score. However, the play of OE suggests that he did not have the Z and that he actually had bingo-y tiles. And with only drawing 2 tiles, I think it's unlikely that he's drawn a Z or a J, so that's not as dangerous as it might otherwise have been. The score is good, the rack leave is good. I'm going with this. Well, it's good to see the X with a bunch of vowels and a selection of 3 different ones. That should enable me to score well. Way has also opened up a double-double lane in column 11, which could prove expensive. Now, do I have a play in row H, getting my X doubled? I do, I have XO'd. So if opponent doesn't take that spot, I will have a big score. And there's really nowhere else for my X at the moment. The OE play really only allows development of the left-hand side of the board by playing down column 6 or across row J. But neither of those plays hits a double word square. So for a non-bingo, he is not likely to score very much. I think the whole right-hand side of the board provides much richer pickings. Opponent again taking a while with this move, but it's still very early days, so he's certainly not in time trouble. Yes, he does have a bingo, 70 points. My X-ode spot has been taken. However, there is this E next to a double word square. So I could play axe in that spot. Keeping road, quite a good rack leave. And I think this is going to be the best score. So axe for 43. Is there something better in this spot? I could stick a D on the end, but I think for 4 extra points, but I think the D must be worth it, about 4 with this rack leave. I'm going with this. Not great. U and V together lack synergy and by themselves are tricky tiles. However, it's a pretty balanced rack. I have no duplicates. I've got the over prefix with CUD. Not too many floaters on this board, if any. The 2-letter sets don't look particularly promising. Now I have an O for going after EX, so column 13 could be quite hot, and my V can go next to DE. So I could play coved for quite a big score. Well, I can't now. 44 points for my opponent. XO takes an N, I don't have an N. And as you can see, all of the action is taking place on the right-hand side of the board. I trail by 40 as a consequence of my opponent's bingo. So I could play across from the D, a play like Dover, keeping CUD. Only 24 points, that's pretty low. I could play Dove. 37 points, wow, big score. But sticking an E in column 15 when I'm trailing, that doesn't feel great. So how about playing curved to really open the board up? 26 points, a decent score. I'm getting rid of both of my problem tiles. And, well, I'm really opening the board up. I'm behind. There are bingo lanes in columns 14. Column 12 is not a bingo lane. Nothing goes after way, nothing goes after pedaled, so I really need to open the left hand side of the board, and this does that. And woe does not take a D, so I can't bump this along one square. Quite nice, but also not nice. They're all bingo-y tiles, but I don't think I have a bingo, and therefore I'm going to struggle to score. I need to consider the floaters in curved. Curved's quite nice because opponent can't play parallel and score well. And that's a painful sight. Access to a triple word square without any high scoring tile to place on this double letter square. Aqua takes an E, I've got one. I trail by 39, so still plenty of time to catch my opponent. So I want to play off my duplicates, I can play Toa. I have to burn the E to hook Aqua. Toa sorts out the vowel consonant balance. And 24 points is okay. I'm going with this. Same situation. All bingo-y tiles, all 1-pointers. No bingo. And no way to score in row H, which is particularly annoying. I was fortunate to get 24 points last turn, but that was courtesy of the queue. I may struggle to replicate that. Now, I do have an N for EXO, so I could play Neon. 25 points, and I'm opening up 2 triple word lanes, so that's better than opening up just 1. I trail by 15, but opponent's on turn. Still 1 blank out there, still 4 S's. And that's really an argument against playing Neon. Exxon takes an S. If opponent's got 1, I'm gifting him 40 or 50 points. But it may be a risk I need to take. Column 5, quite hot, as a double lane for a non-bingo. These in quite a nice position for plays ending IVE or OVE. I don't have such a play. Really, apart from the V, I'm not sure there are any other single letter floaters to consider. So although the board is open on both sides, it's not massively bingo friendly, and a play in row H could choke up the left hand side of the board unless it provides decent floaters. So what else do I have apart from Neon? I certainly wish to... Wow, that's interesting. That's good for me. Opponent has provided a useful floater in the C. Doesn't quite work with this rack. I have the con prefix. So, what about a play in row H? So I could play Lent. I'm really drawn to playing Neon. Wow, I'm not drawn to this rack leave though, that's awful. So how about a play in row H, and now if I keep ON, that's good with the C. So how about a play of Learn? Then I'm keeping ON for a con play, and con followed by T works. I'm providing a floating E, which will be useful in terms of bingos ending in E. I'm scoring 18 points, which isn't too far behind the Neon score. So I think there's... And I'm taking out a spot where my opponent could score 60 odd points if he's got the Z, so I think this is the play. Great! I draw the blank. I have Jenny Zott on my rack with the blank as an E. Not sure there's anywhere for that. I've got the ing ending. I trail by 27. I retained the N for Exxon. Zonating would be good. Through an A or an N. The N of Learn not quite in the right spot. Can't see anything with the K. What about the C? Do I have cognizant? I've got a feeling that's 9 letters, and it is. I can't see a 5-letter DZ play in row H, so I'm not seeing anywhere super hot for the Z. If I can't bingo, then I think the way forward is to play off the Z. La only takes an S after it. Toesing is good, but toesing doesn't take an S. So what about this E? What about a play ending I-Z-E? So that would leave me with tong plus a blank. There could be something there, but I'm not seeing it. Cognize doesn't use the T. So quite a frustrating rack, but still a good rack to have. It means my opponent doesn't have a bingo. Sorry, it means my opponent doesn't have the blank. Now, a new E. And only 16 points, that's good. Does Jenny Zott play? It doesn't. Let me see if I can see another 7. And also if I can see an 8 through an E. And I'm just pausing in case something jumps into my mind before I carry out this exercise. It's always so much better to have a bingo before you start looking for a better one, but I'm not in that position. That looks good. I've got agonize, but again, it's the T that's the problem. I'm not sure about azoting and toesing. I takes nothing in front. Just looking at toesing. That doesn't quite fit in. Now I've got the N for plays ending ation. I need to keep working my way through. 11 minutes on the clock, 41 tiles unplayed. Sorry, 41 tiles in the bag. Cossetting not good. That is Jenny Zott. Jenny Zoth onto an H. Zoftig as a 6. Jenny Zoth through an E. If Jenny Zoth is good, I think it is. Now, what about this play? Not seeing anything. Plotzing, beginning with a P. Zonating through an A. Zooting not good, plotzing through an L. Now, well, there's rosetting, but these E's neither in the right spot, but rosetting is a play and there's no floating R. If there is a bingo here, it's definitely one I'll know quite well because the letters are high probability and I've specifically studied Z plays. Stoozing through an O, I think. Any zygo words? Don't think so. Okay, so that's a bit frustrating and I'm a little short on time now. So, what to do with this Z? And I'd like to keep the rest of the rack together. What about a play beginning with D? Not seeing anything. Can't get my Z to the left of PE. Can't use the Z with the N. I've got nothing to go after Axe, otherwise I could then have a something OZ play. So, what about playing Cognize across here, burning the blank, but for a bingo-y score, 76 points. I've spent long enough on this move. I'm going with this. Well, I draw an S, which is good. I have a slender lead. It's really a matter of how much value my opponent can extract from this cognized play. He can play down column 8, sticking a D or S on the end. He can play across row O, still 3 O's out there, and 3 A's for going underneath the Z. I've drawn 2 U's, which isn't good, but if I play off both of them with a T, with a play of U2, for example, then the rack leave of sight is good. So where does U2 play? Well, it actually plays in column 13, making U and pet, or indeed higher up. And U2 higher up is nice because U2 takes a T in front and I'll be retaining a T. Albeit there are still 3 unplayed. So that's quite good. I don't think I have a bingo with this rack. I can't see a 7. I think there may be no 8s either. Yeah, 52 points. Could have been worse. And opponent has opened a new bingo lane with his T. So this is what I'm thinking of doing. U2 for 13. I am obstructing this 7-letter lane in column 14 for bingos ending in S, which I could regret, but I am opening a useful front hook for my T. I'm going with this. Well, I have titties on my rack, and I have blocked that play in column 14, which is annoying. I don't think titty est is good. Wow, that is annoying. Actually anticipating blocking a bingo and then doing just that. And it's particularly annoying with this rack when, apart from the bingo, the rest of the rack is fairly rubbish. And opponent's steaming ahead. So he's now got a 40 point lead. I just can't see anything to do with this rack apart from titties. That doesn't play in row B. Yut isn't good. Gosh, that's annoying. Can't see anything. Well, I can't see any 8s with this rack. So I need to play off a T and an I. All the T's have gone now, so it doesn't matter too much that I keep a duplicate. But what's problematic is that playing off a T and just a T and I is not going to score very much. And if opponent is carrying on getting 30 or 40 points, I could find myself more than a bingo behind, but there's not very much I can do about that. I can't see a play in row H across from the D, apart from dites, which I don't want to play. So do I take out this 2-2 hook straight away? The K has been played. That is the other front hook for U2, so it's a totally selfish hook. It's very difficult for my opponent to use, so I'm going to leave it alone. So I'm thinking about playing TI here. 11 points, I don't think I'm going to score much more. And the rack leave is quite good. Let me check the remaining vowel situation. 11 out of 33. Okay, quite vowel dry. But 2 vowels should be enough, even if I draw 2 consonants. I'm going with this. So I have elitist, which plays in row B. Do I have a second bingo? What about a play in row O? Can't see anything beginning ET. What about a play in column 14? That's not going to work. U only takes an S, and I don't have an N for making X on, but in any way that's not going to help because La only takes an S and there aren't going to be plays with SN in that spot. Well, I guess they may be. SNE, for example. Great, my row B play remains available. But that's providing opponent with very easy ways to score. So do I have something better? I note that a play in column 4 or 5 would also open up row A, so I guess a better play is going to be one through the G or the A. Can't see anything through the G. What about the A? Four minutes on my clock, okay, which isn't very much. Can't see anything. And Elitist is going to score very little. But it's all I've seen. Does Elitist have an anagram which at least could get doubled? Nope, not that I can see. So 63 points. I'm going with this. Not good. And although I'm ahead by 12 points, I'm really not in good shape at all. Remaining tiles quite bingo-y, not too many high-scoring tiles, so I may escape being hammered by my opponent. Any score of about 40 points is going to put me in a lot of difficulty. I would have biprism onto an M rather. I don't have a vowel for going in front of the G, but I do have an I for going after it, so maybe column 3 is the place for me. So I could play PIR, P-I-R, only 15 points, and that's the danger with, or the problem with this rack. I think I'm going to struggle to score with it, which has been my problem with a few moves this game. G has really killed row O because not many words begin ET, and it stops value being obtained from the Z because there aren't many AET or OET words, bingo or not. I have blip in column H, should that remain available. Double R, not a disaster. I need to hang on to one of my vowels. 7 vowels out of 20 tiles, so still a consonant heavy bag. And remaining tiles pretty bingo-y, so with the floaters in gaff, the opponent could be about to hit me with a bingo. So my plan is to play blip, should that remain available. And probably PIR, if it doesn't. Yup is good, so YU doesn't just take an S. I guess it takes a K as well. And an M. But I can't use that P hook to good effect. 6 minutes on my opponent's clock. Now I guess this JA spot is quite hot. Both my B and P can go there, but I would need an E or an O. So maybe that's a small bit of hope for me, because I'm not playing off the B and the P if column 8 is blocked. And there are still 3 O's and an E out there, so there are 4 useful tiles. However, from my opponent's perspective, he can place his M and his Y there, but if he does that this turn, I have blip. So, although I would suggest my opponent is favourite, that really does depend on the tiles on his rack now. Elitist does not take an S, I think. I won't check that right now because I'm not going to be using it in any event. But if I had an A, then an SPA play could be available. Do I have something better than PIR? Slightly ominous, the length of time my opponent's taking over this move. It suggests he's close to a bingo, or that he's worried about this spot. Great, only 24 points, that's encouraging. So I trail by 12. Per is quite good. It sorts my rack out. It leaves a balanced rack. It takes out column 1. Nothing goes in front of GI. The downside is the score. Only 15 points. But this isn't a board which offers a lot of scoring opportunities. Now I note if I could just draw an E or an O, then column 9 is hotter than I thought because I've got an S for going on the end of cognizer. So per for 15. I draw an O, so I have Robs in column 9, which is going to score quite well. I lead by 3. Will Peer tempt my opponent for a column 4 play? Looks quite juicy. I have Oviboz on my rack as a 6, which can be a nice play for sorting out a tricky rack, or for bingoing with Ovibozes. Glid takes an E. I don't have one. Not sure if it takes an S. I've no longer got the P for an SP play. Now I have Vors as an alternative to Robs. It scores less, but it does get rid of the V. 7 tiles in the bag. And the board looking a lot less bingo-y now with the Glid play, because the opponent has taken out row A and then Per took out the G and the A. However, Glid also took out the G and the A, so Glid completely destroyed the bingo lines on this board, which suggests that maybe opponent wasn't nursing a bingo-y rack. There's still an O and an E out there for column 9, so I haven't really considered what I'll do if that's blocked, so I should turn my mind to that. What do I have in column 4? Well, I have something quite nice. I have Vips. Yeah, that's going to score quite well. Nearly 40 points. R takes a B after it, as well as an S. 3 minutes on my opponent's clock. This is going down to the wire. Great. Opponent goes there. Gets less than 30 points. He leads by 24. 3 tiles in the bag. So I'm going to empty the bag now. Nods takes an S in front. And there's still an S out there. So opponent could be guaranteeing himself a play in row A. He didn't score that much for his second S. So I'm thinking he's got the final S. I'm not sure I can worry too much about that. So these are my options. Vors for 44. Or Robs. 49, 5 more points. But retaining the clunky V. Do I have a third option? Is there a way of playing off one more tile in this spot? Well, there is. I could play Boers. 44 points, keeping just VI. However, I'm drawing 3 tiles. They could all be consonants, which would argue in favour of the play which kept 2 consonants, which is both of the candidate moves I was considering. The V is a really tricky tile, but I'm not sure the B is massively better on this board, but it's got to be a little bit better. And opponent's still got the M and the Y for sticking after jar if I don't go here, so I think I do need to play in this spot. Just 2 minutes on my clock. I'm going with Vors for 44. Wow, I draw vowels. Gosh. A lot of them. Through an A I would have Uabane. That's not a good sign, because I'm not going out in one, but I'm not sure I was terribly optimistic of doing that. My lead is just 20 points. But opponent may struggle to score twice. He's got a decent score with the S. So supposing, well, I can see his rack. We can all see his rack. So he's got yens. 31 points, 383, 11-point lead. But that leaves him MNR. Gosh, I just saw this A and pedalled and thought maybe I had Urbane there. I don't. Where can I score with my B? Tricky to see. I've got an N for X on, so if the opponent burns the S, then this spot is safe. But I don't have an E for Debbie, and Deb only takes an E and an S, so that's annoying. Can't use that to good effect. I've only got 1 and a bit minutes on my clock. And at the moment I have seen no scoring spots, which is annoying. I don't have an E for putting on the end of R's. No AET or OET plays. No hook for axe, which is annoying because I've got the O for hobo. This is frustrating. Just looking at this board and I have got no candidate plays at all. And I'm really looking for ways of getting value out of the B. And I guess if I can't get value out of the B, I'm looking to go out in 2. Wow, good score for my opponent. Now my clock starts ticking. He's retained the E, which is good. So he's got ramen through the A. So do I have a 5-letter play beginning with the B, which doesn't give my opponent an out? I have Danny-O. Can opponent go out? He's got Mona. That's not going to do the job. 15 points would take me to 387, a lead of 3. Minor as well. Maybe opponent won't spot Mona. Well, he's also got Morn and Enorm, so he's got quite a lot to find. Danny-O does give me an out in 2. Does opponent have a second spot for himself to go out? I'm not sure he does. So it's a bit foolish giving him one, but there's only 40 seconds left. So where can I play BU, keeping Danny-O as an out? I can play it here. No, but opponent's got an out through the A, so I can't do that. I think I have to do this. Just ran out of time to find something which doesn't give my opponent an out. He may have had an out somewhere else, but I suspect he may not have done. I had to block the A. Couldn't see a way of doing that. I guess maybe I play a BA, but then I didn't have an out. Wow, opponent hasn't gone out. Does BU do the job? BU isn't good. BU isn't good. Wow. And I lose 10 points because I go over time. All I needed to do was have a BU spot. I think I just saw BU, thought it was good, and it wasn't. Gosh, I may have thrown away that game at the end. So, wow, I was just expecting my opponent to go out, and he didn't. Anyway, I should have assumed he wouldn't go out and spent harder looking for that spot, but I was so sure of BU that I didn't look for a second. Okay, so final scores, 385 for me, 398 for my opponent, a winning margin of 13 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Gosh, that's an annoying ending. Whoops. This is meant to save time, and it would do if I did it properly, so HI for history. Back to the beginning of the game. Me to go first, no bingo, I play moi. And opponent has Elodias, doesn't play it, quite a tricky one to see, but a whole bunch of other bingos. Plays OE. No bingo for me. So I play Way for 29. And other moves available for slightly more in the same spot. Opponent's rack, he does spot a bingo now with pedalled. And I have this rack. I thought about axed, preferred axe because of the rack leave. So it does D, add 4 to EOR. I think it does. Opponent's rack. Plays hob. Wow, look at this. Over pedalled was available for 34 points. For a 12 letter play. Well done if you spotted that. I think I would have played that if I'd seen it. It's not far off the optimal play, and it would be great fun to play a 12 letter play. So what do I do here? I play curved for 26. Could have got more with dove, but that is setting up an easy scoring spot in column 15. Opponent's rack plays aqua. Wow, aqua tone. 34, that's quite nice. That came up in the tablet tournament at the Memories of India restaurant during the week. So I play Toa for 24 points. Opponent plays tick, and now I have this rack. Lawn for 28. Yeah, that might have been worth considering. I play learn for 18. Slightly more defensive. Opponent plays I. Now, this was the rack I spent a while on. No bingo. I go with Cognize for 76, but I could have gone for Coasing for 32 fewer points. Probably very little between those. And Coasing may just have the edge because Cognize gives so much away in terms of its end hooks of DR and S. Opponent plays Wart, and at this point I'm 20 points behind. I've got nothing. And I play Utu for 13, which I like. Not a great rack for my opponent. He plays G. I have titties, nowhere for them. And I play TI. Opponent's rack plays Gaff. And now I played Elitist. I could have got 5 more points. A4 for Slittier down onto the R, sticking the S in the middle of row A. Probably worth doing. Elitist allows a pretty easy play in row A. Now, this was my opponent's rack. And he plays Glid. And now we're really close, just 12 points between us. I play Per for 15 with a manageable rack leave. Boap, I6. Oh, okay, keeping both eyes. And given the vowel shortage, maybe that would have been worth considering. Opponent plays Nods. And now I trail by 24. And I played Vors in the end for 44, and I think all of the other options were considered. Opponent plays Sin. Now, this is the end, the absolute end game, with 12 minutes on my clock. Sorry, 12 points separating us. So, Ober N13, and I'm looking for a play which blocks this A. Ober possibly. Kuia 01. Okay, I'm just not seeing anything which blocks this A. And there's the Danio play which I made. I10 bar. Maybe bar would have been worth considering, but then I'm not going to go out with INOU, so I'm not spotting a 2-move out. These are my opponent's outs, Ramani, Norman, Mona and Morn. And do all of these go through Danio? I10. Oh, well, Danio didn't even block Ramen. So yes, maybe there was a better play, but I didn't spot that. Opponent then plays name. What were my options? Wow, look at that. Only nub for 7. And I only get 2 on count back. So I would have lost by 2 if I'd played this before the end of the game. Yeah, so I played dub for 6. I could have got 1 more point, and I lose 10 by going overtime. So really exciting end to the game. And as it turned out, the game totally hinged on the Danio play. Was there a play which blocked my opponent's outs? Or at least gave me a shot of going out in 2 and winning that way? So let me know in the comments below if you think there is a winning combination of moves, or if there is a combination which is better than my move. So, pretty exciting game. Well done again to my opponent for winning. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.